Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Notable Talk. It's your humble boy, Otnba. And you might be wondering why I'm smiling this much. Well, first of all, it's because I am very, very grateful. I am very, very grateful to everybody who has sent me messages of encouragement, who has left comments, who has, in one way or the other, just made me feel nice about my last video. Um, Even the number of views is not typical for what I would usually get or what I have been getting recently. But I just wanted to use the opportunity to first of all thank everybody. I'm glad that um, people learned something. I'm glad that people just like to see my face. Some people. I'm glad that some people were blessed. I'm glad that some people were just put in a space to just reflect and think back on certain things. I mean, I heard some people even showed their kids. Some people shared it to other people. I mean, whatever way you were involved in the promotion process or just in just digesting the content, whatever way you interacted with it, with the content. I just wanted to say thank you and I appreciate you very much. Recently, I've been thinking about, or I've been making a conscious effort to be more deliberate about something in my life, be more conscious of how I handle something that is so precious to me, something that is so precious to everybody, to be honest, or should be precious to everybody, that is so significant and special to each individual. No one really has the same of it. No one really, I mean, even if you may be similar, you don't have the same of it. Everybody has their own unique thing of what I'm talking about. And everybody has it. And what is that one thing? It's called your thoughts. Your thoughts. I've been thinking about my thoughts more recently. By virtue of being in a lot of situations, a lot of circumstances, whether I'm talking to people, whether I'm in a social gathering, whether I'm at work, whether I'm at church, whether I'm out with friends at a party, whether I'm just existing in the world, walking on the street, whether I'm on the phone, well, whatever it is, whether I'm on social media, scrolling on Twitter or Instagram, whatever it is, I interact with the world as I interact with myself, or as myself interacts with the world at large in whatever way or form, especially when it starts to involve other individuals. I have been more conscious about my thoughts and deciding what stays here and what comes out here. How did I come about this? I think I was in a particular situation. I mean, a lot of us have had situations like this very often, but I don't even remember what exactly the situation was. But I was in this particular situation and I said something to this individual. And at the moment of saying it, I knew that I didn't need to say it. And obviously, you can't take it back. The words have escaped your mouth. The words have been heard by the other individual. The words have taken effect. Even though you pile on if first of all you feel like you offended the person, even though you pile on the sorries, even though you try to explain, I mean, even explaining might help. But at the end of the day, that initial effect that the words have had, it happened. So I know I went through something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it just kind of set me on this journey to be more conscious with my thoughts, be more conscious with what I allow to escape my mouth, what I choose to even say. And I noticed that, first of all, it saved me from a lot of circumstances. One, two, it gave me a better chance to properly analyze the situations I was in. And three, honestly, it made me a better person. I know that sounds very vague, but it made me a better communicator. It also made me it made my perception, it made other people's perception of me seem better than I may have already assumed, if that makes sense. To the point where their perception of me could even shock me and make me be like, oh, okay, I bet. I guess that's me. I mean, because it came from somewhere. But even that in itself, all it really just came from me choosing to settle on my thoughts, choosing to process my thoughts sometimes. Because especially in this age of social media, I noticed that a lot of people run into trouble, especially when they become famous. And for whatever reasons, people may just have some vendetta. Nobody even really has to have a vendetta on you. If you go on Twitter and you go to your timeline, you can just search certain keywords that you'd expect would generate or would be surrounded by other words that promote controversy, whether it's against a certain community or whether it's against a certain ideology, or whether it's just you being flat out rude, or you just being flat out offensive, or you just being silly, or you just saying stupid stuff. And people go back and they could just generate these things from years ago where you self-admittedly would have had a different mindset and you could have possibly grown and stuff like that. Us living in an age like that brings it to the forefront of my mind how important it is to not to just regurgitate, no, don't say regurgitate because you didn't take, to just not spill out everything that goes on in your head. The way I think about it is, I have thoughts that are mine, thoughts that are mine. That a possession that, first of all, doesn't have to be for everybody. Even like people, you know what? I'm gonna get to that. Doesn't have to be for everybody. That's one. It's primarily for me. And the thoughts that sometimes could be one, very raw. Number two, very, very subjective to not just where I am, but who I am at that point in time and what I know. Those thoughts could also be backed by emotions that I'm feeling at that present point in time, emotions that could adulterate those thoughts in any which way, for the better or for the worse. You get what I'm saying? All I'm saying is these thoughts just seem so unpolished. First of all, they seem so precious to me. They also seem so unpolished. They could seem so unpolished, where even that raises flags for me to not to want to be conscious and cautious of what I allow to go from here, or some people say from here to my mouth, out into the world. I have found out that just walking in that consciousness may even be better with relationships that are close to you, more of your more intimate relationships. I have figured that when we are out in the world, when we are on stages where we are more inclined to perform, maybe not perform and like be fake, but perform in the sense of package ourselves, be more conscious of how we're acting, just not relaxing and just being your default raw self that isn't filtering any words or actions or even a laugh. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you can be in a situation where you filter your laugh. You filter how you laugh, if you laugh, you get what I'm saying? I realized that the call could even be more necessary when it comes to intimate relationships. Because like I said, we're out in the world stage, or we're out in certain performative stages where we're more inclined to be more put together. We're more inclined to we if anything, we let the perception of other people or our assumed perception that other people could have of us dictates what we do, what we say, how we act. You get what I'm saying? And then when you're out in the world, let's say work for instance, when you're out in the world from 9 to 5 and you get home and you just drop that mask. Admittedly so, I mean, some people would say that, yeah, your family or people more intimate with you should see your more authentic self. Fair enough. But I feel like a lot of the time that authenticity could also not be sieved from its rawness. or sieved from its lack of conscious filtering that sometimes is required. If anything, I would even say that those that are more intimate with you deserve more of the courtesy of you putting their perception of you for, well, first of all, even that is okay, I'll get to that, of you putting their perception of you first, not even perception of you, but just how they perceive what you say, what you do. You get what I'm saying? In regards to how it affects them. Not really in regards to how it dictates who you are, but in regards to how it affects them, how it affects the situation you're in. I realized that, especially, let's say a significant other, for instance, I realized that a lot of the time, you could say certain things that could, first of all, you may not mean as you said it. You may not mean word for word, but you could also say certain things that you would never really say if you were just not as upset as you were in that situation. If you're not just as irritated as you were in that situation. If you didn't just want to be left alone. You get what I'm saying? I feel like our thoughts should sometimes remain that, our thoughts. People have just said things that even you look at what they say and you're like, why? Why did this need to be said? Not only why did this need to be said, why are you saying it here? And people may say, yeah, it's a free world. You can say whatever you want to say. Everybody has the right to say whatever they want to say on social media. Fair enough. Fair enough. You can. I mean, in a country like America, for instance, large rights that people stand on is freedom of speech. You're allowed to say what you want to say. You're allowed to express your thoughts. You are. You are. But that doesn't absolve from the consequences of those thoughts that we expressed, the consequences of those words that we said. In other cases, the consequences of our actions. That doesn't absolve us. The freedom to express those thoughts, the freedom of speech, gives you the right to just that, the freedom of speech. It doesn't give you the right to the absolution of consequence. Whether it's consequence by law or consequence by the tarnishment of your reputation or just other things that you may just lose because of just whatever consequences come across. Some people have lost job opportunities. Some people have lost career progressing opportunities. Some people have lost friends. Some people have lost the trust of others. Some people have lost communities. Some people have lost family. Some people have lost a lot. You get what I'm saying? And it's funny because even at that moment, you may not even think you've lost anything. You may not even see the effects. But just imagine if, like for instance, those celebrities that get their tweets pulled from 4, 5, 10 years back. Imagine how silly they must feel. Especially if the thoughts they expressed back then, they don't feel that way anymore. Because fair enough, people learn and they grow. I mean, just one case study. So let's say someone says something that's racist or generally perceived as racist. Fair enough, they could have that mindset at that point in time. And that mindset could have changed, maybe by virtue of new knowledge or just by virtue of just personal growth. Whatever it is, that mindset could have changed. But they said those things. And you say these things and you don't even think twice of just how it could, because sometimes you just don't know. You just don't know how it could come and bite you in the ass. You get what I'm saying? So I just thought to just bring it to this platform. It's something I've been thinking about recently. It's something I've been trying to work on, something I've been trying to put into practice. Just being mindful of what you say, how you say it, just sometimes settling on your thoughts. Because sometimes even just choosing to settle on your thoughts reveals that you don't even have all the information that you needed to frame the right thoughts around that issue. You feel me? Even in relating to other people, sometimes we could just be caught up in the moment. Especially when we're joking around, we're laughing. Sometimes you could just get caught up in the moment and you could just say the wrong thing without processing your thoughts. Or even when you're in a gathering where it's an atmosphere for highly opinionated thoughts to be expressed, and you're just so caught up in the ginger that everybody's giving you. You're just so engrossed in the thoughts that are bouncing around the room, and you could just say the wrong things. Sometimes even how it comes out, like I said before, may not be how you intended it, but you just say it regardless. You didn't even think about it. You didn't even settle on the thoughts. I think we should be more conscious of how we express our thoughts, man. Sometimes I even think of it as an empowering conscious activity, or a conscious activity that empowers you. Speaking personally on this, and in me trying to be more conscious about this, I feel like it gives you a sense of control that, okay, I liken it to just working out. Working out gives you a sense of personal control of your body and mind that you wouldn't have, like, you wouldn't experience any other way. You could experience any other way. I mean, not that I've experienced, but just having the mindset to deliberately put yourself through something for a personal good, and then see that personal good come into fruition in the case of working out your physical appearance, and also how you are mentally, how it helps you mentally. That's how I see tempering your thoughts. That's how I see settling on your thoughts. That's how I see being more in control of yourself with not just the thoughts you have, but the thoughts you choose to express. You feel me? That's how I feel. I feel like it's very empowering. Just you sitting, especially, okay, just speak, you're having a conversation with someone and they're saying certain things, and they could say something and you could have a thoughts on something they said, and especially if it's in contrast to what they just said, and you're inclined to just jump in and interrupt and just say your piece. First of all, maybe just because you don't want to forget, that's one thing. Secondly, you just want to settle that. You just don't want to, you just want to address that thought because you just feel the sharp contrast in your heart. You get what I'm saying? Or in your mind. I get it. But sometimes you could just let them keep speaking and you could just settle on your thoughts. And you settling on your thoughts, first of all, helps you refine them. Secondly, in the process of them speaking, you could just be getting more information that could either confirm or deny your thoughts, the thoughts that you had, or the thoughts you're currently having. You get what I'm saying? It just gives you, oh no, it just gives you so much power. It gives you so much, it's almost like a mastery of yourself, if that makes sense. It gives you so much control of not just yourself, but it gives so much control of this one thing that is in your possession. And then you determine how you disperse this one thing. It's almost like saving money. It's almost like saving money. There's a certain joy that comes with you just having self-control, or just not spending money on certain things, or you having the initial desire to spend money or make a purchase, and you sit down and you're just like, and you weigh the cost of it, you weigh the benefits of it, you weigh your current financial situation. You're like, is this worth it? Should I do this? And in you settling on that thought, in you settling on that decision, you say to yourself, you come up with the reasons, valid reasons to yourself that make you confirm or deny the decision to spend that money. And then you decide not to spend the money because you see how it's for your better. You see how it's not worth it. You see how you have other things that are higher on your list of priorities where this money would serve better. You see how in the long run, you don't even need that thing you're trying to buy. And how you even saving this money does you better. It gives you more funds for things that could come up, especially unexpected things. And then you feel more responsible. You feel happy with yourself. And then you feel proud of yourself. That elevates your self-esteem. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. But yeah, man. Let's be more conscious of our thoughts. You guys can give it a try. Give it a try and tell me what you think. Tell me how it helps you, especially in more intimate relationships. It's easier for us to do it when we're on more public stages. I'd love to hear how it affects everybody. I'd love to hear other people's experiences of it, because my experiences of it so far have been nothing but good. So yeah, man, that's it for me today. Appreciate y'all for listening. Thank you for watching. Once again, I appreciate the love on the last video, the last episode, the last podcast episode, and on previous podcast episodes too. I appreciate it. And yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Have a blessed week. Bye.
Sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to No Table Talk.